So far I've built several pretty cool things in this world, so I think it's about time that we take our journey to the Nether. Now, it's not like this is our first time going to the Nether, and I'm not actually going to make a build in the Nether. I just need a whole bunch more Nether highways so I can get to a bunch of different biomes so I can collect more animals. That's because in today's video I want to build Noah's Ark. So what all does this entail? Well, currently there's a whole bunch of Minecraft mobs, more than I'm even going to list, but as you can see on the screen here, this is all of the passive and neutral mobs listed on the Minecraft wiki. But I'm not going to collect all these, like villagers and wandering traders. They're not really animals. And then spiders, I'd love to collect them because they're animals, but you can't put them on a boat or on a lead, so I can't get them. For that same reason, I can't get a bat. I don't want to get hostile mobs, really, so I'm going to count piglins, drowned, endermen, zombie pigmen. They're all out of the picture. And then it's Noah's Ark, so all of the water animals other than the axolotl I'm going to get rid of. In the end, that leaves us with these 30 animals that I'm going to try to collect by the end of this video. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. I first made my way over to this desert village. As you saw before, I got camels here, and then I also got some of my starting animals. I'm not going to be getting every variation of every single animal, but whenever it's convenient, I figure why not? It'll be kind of fun just to collect all the different ones when I can. And then pretty close to that village was I think this is Savannah? I don't even know. I've been playing too much Zoo Tycoon recently, but this is where I got the armadillos. I'm not going to show you guys every time I collect an animal, or at least not every time I'm like traveling through the Nether, because that's just going to take too long and it's not going to be very exciting. But I'll do my best to show me every time I at least get the animal back to my base, and then we'll keep track of it on this list here. In our very first video, we saw these 2 ice spikes right there. That was actually just pretty close to the village that we visited in both of my first and second videos. So I traveled back to that snowland. I found polar bears pretty quickly, and I ended up with 3 polar bears. The idea behind this is that I get at least 2 of every animal, because, you know, there's 2 of every animal on Noah's Ark, I guess, but I'm just gonna tell you now, I don't get 2 of every single animal. There's 2 animals that I'm missing out on by the end of this, so I just figured better be safe than sorry. Just gotta be honest. One interesting thing is when I went back through my Nether portal to come get my mushrooms, I ended up in a trial chambers, and when I swam up out of there, there was also an ocean monument like right next to it. So there was the Trial Chambers, Ocean Monument, and Mushroom Island all super close to each other, which I'm sure isn't like super rare, but I thought it was kind of cool that happened to me. After that, I returned near the village to get some horses. I don't know how I hadn't found horses yet at this point, but now I've got them. So once again, we'll be keeping track of it on this list, and hopefully you guys don't get sick of that. I will be collecting a few different variations of wolves just because I can. But like I said, I can't get all 9 wolves because that would just take too long. It really wouldn't take that long to get all of the wolves. The biggest problem with getting every variation of animal is the stuff like the blue axolotl. It's super rare. Skeleton horse. Brown mushroom is pretty rare. I mean, it's not that rare, but it's kind of hard. I don't want to get all 16 variations of sheep. What's playing right now, I guess I should probably commentate the video rather than just whatever I want to tell you guys, because if you've watched my videos before, you know that I don't script these videos. I just put it together and then I commentate whatever I feel like commentating. I came across the biggest Minecraft cave I've ever come across. I think I come across a bigger one later in this video, and I forgot to record, so if you're wondering where all the diamonds come from, it's just a little off-camera mining. Trust me on that. Just please trust me on that. I have no reason to lie about diamonds. Like, I've already got full diamond gear. I don't really need them. But it was kind of funny because there's several times where I'll be playing and then I just completely forget to start my recording until I've got a stack of halfway semi-rare blocks, and I'm like, oh, I should probably start the recording so people know that I actually did get these in survival Minecraft. Just like that, I got my foxes. I had to dig this pit for them because they get off their leashes really easy and try to kill my chickens. Luckily, I had leftover eggs, so I was able to respawn my chickens, but I did lose a few to the foxes. And then I started cutting down trees. All of these trees will need to be cut down because I'm going to need, I guess, wood to actually build the ark once it's time to do that. And then there's lots of little things like this in the background that I'm not going to show constantly. Stuff like trading with villagers. I returned to the end to get some more elytra so that Christina could have elytra. Getting shulker boxes, because you can never have too many shulker boxes in my opinion. But eventually it was time to actually start on the boat. And just like all my builds, I'm not going to show you every single part of this. How I decided the design for this is I just asked ChatGPT to generate a picture of Noah's Ark in Minecraft. And it did a decent job. I mean, I was just following a picture that was like not to scale at all because it's ChatGPT, it's not perfect. But it kind of gave me a rough idea of what I wanted it to look like. As you can see right here, I'm breaking it. I had to break it so many different times. I decided to change it so many different times just because I couldn't quite get the design how I wanted. But eventually, one super fast time lapse later, this is what I ended up with. It's not perfect. I mean, as you can see here, I had to destroy the entire top floor because it needed to be down a block. There were just so many hiccups in this process. But like I said, I'm going to be trying to build everything in this video, my own designs. I mean, I got a little help from AI, but I'm not following any tutorials other than for farms because I want this world to be my own. And so right here, me and Christina tried copying the design from one boat, or from one side of the boat to the other side of the boat, which took surprisingly long. It was so obnoxious. She said I need to give her a huge shout out, so huge shout out to her for helping me with this. Eventually we got it figured out, and then I went to the other corner. I guess, I don't know if it's a corner, it's supposed to be curved, but the other corner of the boat to do the same thing while Christina worked on this wall. This was just so long. I'm speeding through this so fast, but looking back at this took hours and hours and hours of recording. Once we got that done, I added the second, third, maybe fourth floors. I'm not sure how many floors I added to this thing before making a name tag for Susan. Now, if you're wondering who Susan is, then I'm going to have to take you to the end. I'm going to be building an Enderman farm. Looking back on it, I should have built this farm years and years before I actually did it. It was very simple to build. I had one of these in my other 1000 day series. So basically, I mean, you just build the farm, and then the hardest part is getting an endermite to spawn and then getting it into a minecart. So here's Susan, our endermite. Tutorial I was watching said I had to punch Susan to get into the minecart. Unfortunately, this didn't really work, and I ended up killing Susan on accident. It was an accident. Luckily, we have a Susan 2.0 who we can put into a boat. Not a boat, a minecart. And so I spawned in Susan 2.0, and this time, rather than punching her, somehow I got her into the minecart just by pushing the minecart into her. I probably should have tried that the first time. But in the end, I mean, the farm was working exceptionally well. As you can see, it just instantly started producing lots of endermen. I'm going to have more ender pearls than I know what to do with ever. But this is going to be a super good way to mend all of my armor, my tools, my weapons. I'm not really sure why include this part in the video other than just to show that I did it. There's a few times where I break bedrock on the nether roof. This doesn't really apply to this video, but if you're ever wondering in future videos, like, wait, why do you have holes in your nether roof? It's because I did it on day 208 or whenever it was, and I just didn't think to bring it up. But I did think to bring it up, so now you guys know. I got a few tropical fish, as you saw in that last shot. I don't really need fish because we're not technically needing them for the ark, but I do need these axolotls for the ark. I don't know if axolotls can survive only in the water, so I figured we should probably put them on the ark. I made a little pool for them up top. All of the other animals will go in the basement of the boat. Ocelots were arguably the worst animal to collect, just because of how long it took to find one. I found the jungle where to find them pretty quickly, but figuring out how to actually find one within that jungle just took so long. Eventually I returned back to the village you guys saw me in earlier, where I got some bunnies, and then I just started collecting all the animals. Some of them were pretty easy. The donkey was surprisingly difficult. Frogs were pretty easy. I even went out of my way to get all 3 variations of frogs because I've never done this before and I thought it would be fun to have all of the 3 colors of frogs. But we're already almost, if not 2/3 the way through with the animals, which is pretty cool. This is the part I forgot, or yeah, this is the part that I forgot to start recording. I came across this huge cave. It was even bigger than the one I found earlier. Not as open as the one earlier, but just super long, deep tunnels. I don't really know how to explain it. Lots of diamonds. And then I also got some chains here, which was useful because Christina was going to need chains for her treehouse that she was building. In the end, this is all the loot that I ended with. Lots of diamonds, lots of redstone, gold. At this point, it was time to actually move all of my animals into the ark. I more or less put them in here alphabetically. And then, I don't know if you saw, there's a laze, I think that's how you pronounce it, flying around me. There's a few animals in here that I forget to show me getting. Like that was a mule right there. I breeded my horse with my donkey, so I have mules now. I forgot to show me getting every animal, but I'll mark it off whenever I see that I do have it. One really interesting thing that happened to me was a cow walked into my ender pearl stasis chamber, hit my ender pearl, so I teleported in there, and then there was a creeper in there that blew up my farm. This was super random. Like the lengths that had to go into that exact occurrence happening is just super random. It was kind of funny. Nothing really that bad happened. The farm was pretty easily fixed. And then this is just another random task. Some of my villagers died to zombies, so I had to repopulate them. And then I swam around warm oceans looking for sniffer eggs, because Noah definitely had sniffers on the ark. And I don't know how he found them, because their eggs are super hard to find. Once I got them back, I laid them on some moss blocks, because supposedly they hatch faster if they're on moss, but even with this, they took so long to hatch. Once they finally did, I was so happy. One of my favorite animals in the game, not for any reason particular, is the strider. It's literally a lava boat. It's pretty cool. They're super obnoxious once you get them to the overland or overworld or just anywhere that doesn't have lava, because they're so slow. But I really like striders. I got some llamas in here, and then I also got trader llamas. Personally, I don't think there's a difference between the species of llama and trader llamas, but according to the Minecraft wiki, there are. So I had to get some trader llamas to put in the ark as well, just so that they could repopulate once the earth is flooded, I guess. I don't know. And then this is another one that I was kind of like, I don't know if this is really an animal, but I decided to put snow golems in here. I don't know exactly what happened. I think a zombie got in here. A snow golem tried to throw a snowball at the zombie. It missed, and it hit a llama, because when I came in here later, one of my llamas and one of my snow golems was missing. And so I think they got into kind of a brawl and killed each other. But we're making pretty good progress. My next animal I want to get was pandas. Pandas just took forever to find the biome that I wanted to get them in. Once I got to the biome, I found them almost immediately, actually. I was pretty lucky in that. It was just a matter of finding it, which was almost 5,000 blocks away from spawn, I believe. And then you can't put pandas in a boat or on a lead, but they need to be on the ark. So I'm just going to build a fence for these guys. They're a small exception. At this point, the ark is basically done. So to top it all off, I'm adding 6 beacons underneath to add a rainbow. If you're familiar with the Bible story, God gave Noah the rainbow when all was said and done or something. Honestly, I should know the story better than I do, but like I said in my other video, I like to represent all of my builds with beacons, so the ark is getting a rainbow beacon just to symbolize it. So here's all of the animals I got. I didn't get skeleton horse, so I'm sorry about that. I tried to, but I just didn't get it. A few other animals like bees. I had bees at one point, but they kept getting off their leads, so I'm not gonna have them on the ark. I'm sorry, but I did my best. And so Christina started working on her treehouse while I built us a diamond little castle. I'm going to be honest, I didn't have quite enough diamonds to finish it. I was 3 diamonds short. So I put a crafting table, and then we put our beds over the top of these grass blocks. So you can barely even tell that the floor isn't completely diamonds. And I know it's not much, it's pretty small, but for the time being, this is where me and Christina will sleep. I took a little bit of time to get myself to level 100 for basically no reason at all. This really has no purpose. And then I flew around the nether for a while collecting gas tiers. which was surprisingly fun. I don't know why it was so much fun, but I got the gas tiers so that I could make end crystals so that I could respawn the ender dragon. I didn't know this until halfway through creating this video, but you can kill the ender dragon. Well, you can kill him unlimited times, but every time you kill him, a new end gateway appears, up to 20 end gateways. Which, if you're watching this, you probably knew that, but I didn't know that at the time. So I decided that we need to kill the ender dragon 18 more times, since we had only done it twice at this point. And it went by surprisingly fast. In total, I think all 18 times took just over or just under 2 hours. I did die to one enderman, so RIP all of those levels I got earlier. But yeah, just over 2 hours, which if you're a speedrunner, I'm sure that's like terrible time. But for me, it went by a lot quicker than I thought it would. I got Christina to help me with about half of them, which really helped. Once I got him killed 18 more times, I went and did some terraforming while Christina worked on her treehouse a little bit more. Just more mundane tasks that aren't super exciting. Eventually, I did get a brown mushroom during a lightning storm. What I didn't know is that if a brown mushroom gets hit by lightning again, then it will turn back into a red mushroom. Rather than waiting for another lightning storm, I just used a world backup. It only cost me about 20 minutes of the game, and it was definitely worth it to have a brown mushroom because they're not super rare, but they do look kind of cool. They probably give chocolate milk. I'm sure you could convince someone of that at least. So we got a brown mushroom. That's kind of fun. And then I tunneled deep underground to add a green beacon coming up out of Christina's tree, just to make sure that her, I guess, build had a beacon, because most, if not all of my builds need a beacon. It's just the way we're doing things in this series, I guess. After that, I headed to a forest. I needed a ton of materials to build a creeper farm. I don't know why I used spruce wood of all wood. There's really no reason for this. But I knew I wanted the creeper farm to be between Christina's tree and the lighthouse. It took a really long time to figure out exactly how I wanted it, because if you just build it based off the tutorial, then the collection zone is going to be underground. So I have to build the actual farm up in the air a little bit. And I built it 2 times actually, and then had to destroy it because I just didn't like how close it was to Christina's tree. But eventually I got figured out the location that I wanted it to be. And then, yeah, it was just a matter of following the tutorial at that point. Like I said, all of the farms in this video, other than the bamboo farm was my own design. This is not my own design. This is just for simplicity. And that's it. That's the creeper farm. It's functional, but it doesn't look good yet. So the first thing we need is another stupid time lapse where I tower up into the sky and then tower back down to get a bunch of concrete. I also need a bunch of slime blocks. I thought I was a genius carving out slime chunks underground to get slimes. To some degree, I was a genius. This worked, but it was so not effective. I lost footage of a lot of this next build that I'm doing, so I can't show you everything. Most of the slime I get for this next build comes from a swamp, but at first I was collecting them underground. I would also use sheep's wool for more green blocks. I just needed a ton of different green blocks so that I could take this creeper head and make like, I don't know, not a 1-to-1 ratio, because my creeper head is going to be way bigger, but I'm just trying to make a giant creeper head that's going to surround the creeper farm. So this is what I ended up with at first. It looks pretty good. Might not be perfect, but I think it's good enough. So now I just have to take this and double it. So it's currently an 8x8. I have to make it 16x16. So I had to make a few modifications to the farm, mostly just with the water that transports the creepers, and then it was building. And the reason I had to do all that was just to make sure that I could fit the entire farm within a 16x16 area. In the end, it still wasn't perfect. It was actually like a 16x18 area, but you can't really tell. This is basically the only footage I have of it before it's completed. It's because I lost like 6 hours of recording. It was super sad. But in the end, I ended up with this design, which I think looks pretty good. It's kind of random, but it symbolizes a creeper farm pretty well, so I think I'm going to keep it. One thing I wanted to do before the end of this video was collect a bunch of netherite. I only have netherite boots at this point. I had a netherite pickaxe, but I don't know where it ended up. So I went to the nether with a creeper farm and a sand duper. Getting TNT was super easy, and in no time at all I had full netherite. I don't know why I'm showing this footage because that is not full netherite, but I guess this is the only footage I could find. It was good stuff. A few more house chores, just getting good villager trades. Like I said, several zombies got into my villager house a few times and killed them. So I had to get them back. I had to breed more chickens just for food. And then we did a raid. And this actually isn't the first raid we did. As you can see, I already have the Hero of the Village award. That's because me and Christina already did a raid before this. But like always, I forgot to push record. And there's some things that I don't really care to have on camera. Like, I didn't have footage of me collecting slimes in the swamp, but you guys can probably assume that I did that. Like, there's no reason to really lie about that. But a raid, I figured we have to have on camera. So we actually ended up doing 3 raids in total, all level 4 raids. So we got a decent number of loot, I guess. What do you call them? Totems of them dying and whatnot. And then just to finish up before the end of the video, I did some more terraforming, waited for all of the grass to spread so that it was looking good. And with that, we are now at day 300. So here's what we've done this video. We built Noah's Ark. This is me standing on top of it. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going into creative mode, not because I'm cheating, but just to show you guys what we did this video. The Ark is not perfect, but it's good, and I built it all by myself. Well, me and Christina built it all by ourselves. It was way bigger than it needed to be. All of the animals that we collected or planned to collect fit on one floor. If you remember, we got a snow golem who died. I went and got some more trader llamas so that we had some. I collected actually 16 of the 22 different types of tropical fish, as well as salmon and cod. I didn't really show it this video because I said we weren't going to go over it, but I had some fun with that. I had a salmon named Ella for Salmonella, and a cod named Call of Duty. Again, I don't know where the footage for that was. It was going to be like a really funny joke, but so sad I didn't get that or forgot to put it in here. But here's all my animals, minus skeleton horse and bees, which 28 out of 30, I'll take it. That's like a 93%. It's good enough. Then here's the creeper farm. I don't know what that editing was. That was so bad. I did put the face on both sides. And then we got Christina's tree. Actually looks really good. A few of the vines are hanging lower than they should. I tried to put string under some of them, but I just didn't have enough string when I was doing this. So we'll fix that in the future. If you look to the left right there, there's an iron farm. I think that was in this video. I don't think I built in the last video, but like I said, I lose footage sometimes. I built an iron farm, which was super helpful just in getting all of my beacons to level 4. I'll build some sort of design around it, a building to hide its ugliness, but for now, that's all it is. I think the island's coming together really well. We got our nice little diamond house right here. I did get enough diamonds by the end of this video to finish the floor. So as you can see, underneath our beds, it's completely diamonds. There's no way to prove that underneath the crafting table or smithing table is diamond, but I mean, that's 18 diamonds in total. It's not like it's that hard to get. This is the area that I spent a lot of time in. I didn't really show this much just because of how ineffective it was to farm slimes down here, but I did spend quite a bit of time down here trying to get slimes to build the creeper head. And yeah, that's about gonna do it for this video. I did some work in the end. I didn't really go over this much just because we're not actually building in the end yet. I removed some bedrock here too, but I'll highlight more of that once I actually get to the video when we build something here, which probably won't be till at least day 700. So that's going to be it for today's video. Please subscribe, it really helps me out, and with that, I'll see you all later. Adios.